Dead Art Studios artist vlog today. We're working on this. So this is the painting I was working on in the last painting chat that I made. And today I've got a plan for this bit here. Up here, I want to blend this yellow a little bit upwards and see if I can create a softer effect here, because I want to somehow transition between the red, which is very harsh and linear, into this softer yellowy orange here. And then I've been adding white here. And the idea is that the line at the bottom is a sort of line of lights now. The top's something abstract and unhuman and unreal and sort of just very geometric, existing in some other plane than reality maybe. And then below, something a bit more impressionistic, maybe a light horizon of lights, and then maybe some figures, a large crowd below coming forwards all the way down there. Maybe we can work that in. I'm not going to make it look super realistic in terms of people, but the idea of movement, a crowd, something like that. So let's start with just this brush. It's oil paint, and hopefully it's still a bit wet so that we take some of the colour up with us, which we do. And we're just going to slowly pull it up. And then what I'll do is I'll just wipe off any excess black that comes. That is going to inevitably just dull it down. So we'll try and keep as much of the colour in as possible as we go up. And remove the black, and we can always come in with a bit more paint there. Let's do it. A little bit of cadmium yellow. Got it on here, look. And I'm working on the hob under a light, under the light of the hob, and mainly so that I can stand further back away from the piece as it would be if it was sort of hung, and get a bit more of a feel for what it looks like from a distance, instead of working on it sort of on the table horizontally as I often do, because really this line needs to stay sort of look natural but stay pretty straight as well, and not sort of go off. And when you're sat really close, it can make it difficult. Right, so this is pretty experimental, and that's kind of the point of this whole painting really, is to try and make some things work, some things that you might not think should go together. This line here, and then something a bit more freehand and blended underneath. Can we bring it all together and make it into something that's unified in some way? I'm just wiping the paint off the brush onto a piece of kitchen paper, a bit of roll. Then I'm taking more paint and just pulling it up, and then trying not to touch it too much, because obviously inevitably I'm running wet black around as well, and we don't want to sort of like make the yellow too sort of green by mixing the black. I think it's lamp black. It's probably got some made up for some dark blues and other bits and bobs to make it black, so you'd probably end up with a green tint on the yellow if you weren't too careful. I mean, I can see a little one right now. Yes, it's looking reasonable. Just going to get the right hand side, and then I'm not going to put too much paint on, he says, as he immediately puts too much paint on. Just going to get that last little bit there. Touch it there. That's it. And then what I'm going to do is wipe off that brush much as possible, and then try and blend in a bit and up. We can always come back and do some more, and we might need to let it dry to get it exactly how we want it. But the idea is there now, and I think it looks reasonable. Let's just dab a bit of yellow into here, brighten this up a bit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is carry on with the white below with the knitting needle, make the patterns. Of the crowd, or the mass, or whatever it is. I'm just thinking crowd now. I'm just trying to have an idea to work with, so I'm not just putting paint down any old how, I suppose. Though that's what it kind of feels like most of the time. So come forward, try to leave some of the whites a bit heavier as we start to move forwards. And try to think of movement. Try and blend up a bit. It's always difficult when you come back from something that you've been doing like previous day or night. You're in a certain mood and certain vibe, and you were moving your hands in a certain way, and it was leaving a certain strength of mark. And then you come back and try to repeat it, and you can see today I'm harder, and that's kind of okay, but we need to make it work with the other bit. Okay, I'm probably going to go all the way down, not today, but then I think as we go further down, try to make bigger moves with the needle to create a kind of perspective of whatever we are looking at being closer to us. And then just keep standing back. Anything that looks too heavy or soft, try to correct, get the sort of unity that we're looking for. That's going to be it for now. I'm going to carry on with that, and I'll be back for Artist Deep Dive later in the week. Pick an artist, so I'll go on WikiArt and have a look at the paintings, talk about their life a bit, about their paintings, and then we'll probably do painting chat later in the week, discuss that artist a little bit more while we're doing probably this painting again. So take it easy. See you next time, Dead Art Studios.